I was recently released from federal prison. My original sentence was 292 months. Well, I obtained my clemency because I chose to file my own motion to the president, and after a year of filing it, I didn't receive any type of notice, so I filed it again. They called my name and said I had got the clemency. I decided to do it myself because I prayed, I asked God to guide me and help me. The questions are very simple, and the answers that you provided, it comes from the heart, and I just chose to do it that way. I met my child's father in 2000, and when I met him, he was on the legal side and illegal side, and I decided to help him all the way around, and I would not testify against him when we caught our case, and that led to our incarceration. On the night that we obtained our case, one of the issues that I had with the police was that they pulled us over on the interstate. I had my daughter with me at the time. She was like 17 months, 16, 17 months. They had us on the side of the road, and we're on the side of the road that's traffic is coming. They would not allow us to get in the car, and I stressed, I don't know on how many numerous occasions, can we at least get on the side or in the grass? Because I do have my daughter with me, and they was just so rude to the point he was like, we don't care about that. So that was just one issue. Another issue was the guy, his attitude was so rude. He was talking nasty to me and everything. And I mean, I'm like, okay, yes, you did pull us over, but there's still a way to do things. It's morals and everything you do. My daughter ended up, the night we caught our case, they allowed me to call someone to come and get her, to keep her out of the system. So they let me sit in this room with her until the person arrived to pick her up. And she ended up staying with my child's father's mom and dad. I don't feel that I was completely incarcerated unjustly. I feel that the unjust came in when I wouldn't testify, and they originally offered me 10 years. And when I turned that down, they boosted my points. So my points will be high, and that way the amount of time that they offer will be high. The points are in the federal system, they do a PSI check. And if you have a criminal history, your points go up. So that means you get more time. I did not have a criminal history, and my points went up because of the way the charges were. If the DA says, okay, this is what we're gonna give you, even if the judge sees that this is not the proper points or the proper sentence for you, they're still gonna go with the DA. So it's unjust. 9 times out of 10, they're all friends, they're all playing golf together, vacation together. So since they're friends, the justice is not gonna be served. Some of the DAs will sit there and knowing they really don't have a case, but they'll get you to plea out to something. And so now you have a record because you chose to plea out. Some people just wanna go home. They'll hold you for months at the county, and the DA will come to you and say, well, this is the plea we're offering. And most guys know they don't have the proper money to get an attorney because the public defenders 9 times out of 10, they working with the DAs and the judges, they just want a conviction. So that's another thing that needs to be improved. Once you're inside, you have to go through the condemnness of the buildings, no hot water. Sometimes the food is cold, it's not adequately prepared so where it could be hot for you. The bedding situation, you're pretty much on a metal slab, and the mattresses are so thin to where it causes backaches, amongst other problems that it can cause. The first night I got to the county, I said, this not for me. You have no privacy. You eat at this time, you shower at this time, you get in your bed at this time. You can't make them go to sleep, but you can make them get in their bed. Be quiet, no noise. And you see the mistreatment when people are riled up, especially the ones that's like on drugs. The people that are on drugs real bad, they don't deserve prison, they deserve help in a hospital somewhere. The amount of money they make, I can't per se quote the amount, but I do know in federal prison that around October to the end of January, they do a head count. And that's so they can get their funding or however they're getting their money. So what that means is if you're in a transit center or you at one of the state county jails that has a contract with federal prisons to hold the inmates until they can ship them out, they're gonna ship you out, get you away from the county and get you to a prison so they can get the funding for that body. My experience with the correction officers when I first got incarcerated, they looking at you like, okay, you're a newbie. Whatever we say, this is what goes. Some of them handle you bad. Now, when I first went to plain dealing, I ended up getting maced by one of the COs. They gave you medication at 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning. And I didn't want to take the medicine, so she told me when I finished with the med card, you'll be going to the SHU. The SHU is special housing unit. It's where you go like if you get into trouble and things of that nature. So she led me to the SHU, and we stopped in the process, and she kept telling me to roll my pants up. So I felt that she was rude and was treating me like I was an animal, so I wouldn't roll my pants up, and she took her mace out and she maced me, and I put my hands up to stop it from getting in my eyes. That was just one situation. Once I stayed at plain dealing jail for 17 months, and then I went through transit, which is in Oklahoma City, and I ended up going to Dublin, California as my first federal prison. There is pretty much the same, but the COs there does not have mace. If a fight break out, they tackle you like you're men, they cuff you and lead you to the SHU. Certain people were treated certain ways, like the first time I seen it was when I was in Dublin, California. The COs pretty much know who has money, because when you come from commissary, which is the prison store, they see the bags that you bring in. So they got away with a lot of things versus a person that just got there or maybe been there only a year. If you've been there a good 10 years, the inmates, they have learned to socialize with the COs, and so when they see that type of behavior, they tend to let you get away with things. The medical issue in the prison, and this state and federal levels, they're horrible. If you, God forbid, if you have a terrible illness, people die all the time in these prisons. And once you start noticing your body is getting sick, you need to do everything you can to prevent it from progressing, because if not, there's no chance that you will make it out. And when you get released, your background is still held over your head. First, when I came home, I had got signed the lease, paid the deposit, and because I have a criminal history, and when we decided to do another documentary on me, they found out that we was doing a documentary, but on the application, it did not ask you, have you ever been convicted of a felony? And once they found out, they said I had to vacate the premises. So that's just one thing in housing. Re-entry, as in trying to help a person find a job, find the proper clothing, all of that they need in able to survive out here. Education. Some places will not allow you to come to their college because of your background. And it's a work in progress. It's going to take a while. It's not something that's going to improve overnight. But the citizens have to research. Listen to what the people that's on the inside are telling you. Go out and vote. Try to elect the right officials to help with the prison system. If you don't go out and vote, how are you going to get an improvement done? When a person goes to prison, whether you're guilty or not, when you serve your time and you come home, a lot of people have to make up in their mind that I want to do better. And when you make up in your mind that you want to do better, and when people go in and come out, it's still being held over their head. And it makes it hard to actually get the proper housing you need, the proper education, the proper jobs. And I just feel like if the world could come together and see, okay, this is a person that made a mistake, because we all make mistakes. Everybody is human, and we all make mistakes. That's what humans do. They make mistakes on a daily basis. And if the world could stop holding this against people as myself that was formerly incarcerated, allow us to provide and help in the world, because there's a lot of things that we could do. I'm going to school for human services. I want to work with sexual assault adolescents. So I came home and I had my mind on straight, because prison does not rehabilitate you. You have to rehabilitate yourself. So my mind frame was like, everything that I do is going to be on a legal side, nothing illegal. So if we had the proper guidance to help us as soon as before you even leave, if they give you the proper guidance, the prison rate probably wouldn't be so high. I feel the choice that I made was on my own, because I wasn't forced to do what I chose to do. When I love hard. So my loyalty is with the person, family members, that's just one of my aspects of how God made me. So I try not to have any regrets in my life, but if I can go back and change some of the things that led up to that, because now I'm older and I'm wiser on the things that I did and the mistake I made. And just having my daughter, she's my only child, so that really took a toll on me. That was one of the reasons of how I got to prison, her and God. God pushed me through. There were so many times to where I found myself depressed because I left my child, and I know no one's gonna raise my child the way I would. And so I always tell my daughter, if you meet a guy, and eventually she will, because she's 16, you meet a guy or a female, a friend, whomever, and if they're doing wrong, you get away from them, because you could be caught up in everything that they're doing. A lot of times, the DA know you don't have any involvement, but because you're aware of it, it's called a conspiracy. So now they're gonna pull you in to see if you can tell them everything they need to know. So I try to prevent her from going through those type of things. If you cannot get it from mom and you get it from the streets, you're gonna learn it the wrong way. Now in my prison sentence with her, I called her at least 3-4 times a week. We did homework together. I talked to her, your education is important. That's a must. Always go to school, learn. You don't need to go to school to be clowning and acting a fool with everybody in the classroom. You go to school to learn, because that's what was instilled in me. We talked. If there was any issue she was having, I would help her with spelling words, math over the phone, and it'll be times like the phone is a 15-minute phone call. You gotta wait 30 minutes. I wait that 30 minutes and call her back, because I need to make sure you're getting it. I'm her mom. I'm supposed to be there, so I'm gonna do everything I can. We email. We did problems through the email. So I tried to always stay in her life. We started writing letters. I still have the letters she wrote me. I still have the drawings she did at school. I still have her report cards. I'm still mom. I'm just mom from prison. It took me almost 6 years to forgive myself for leaving her. I didn't get to teach her to be a proper young lady growing up into a proper woman. And I mean, I'm teaching her now. She graduates this semester. I graduate this semester. She's going to college. So all I had was 3 years with her. And it's like, that's not enough. We all have decisions in life. And most times your decisions affect your children. When we're in prison, they're in prison. They're free out here, but they're in prison. Their mind is in prison because their mom is gone, their dad is gone. And that was somebody who was a protector, a provider, and that's what you're allowed to have children for, to protect them. So that took me a long time to forgive myself, because I felt like I'm the protector. I had her. I'm supposed to be there no matter what. But I chose to be loyal to her dad. And if anybody's in a situation to where it's gonna take you away from your children, get you in trouble, it's not worth it, because it's gonna follow you and them for the rest of your life.